Hello, welcome to Miss KJ Lewis's website. I am going to review biochemistry as quickly and easy as possible. Now, bio means life, and chemistry is basically the study of structure and properties of substances. Now, biochemistry is studying the chemical processes within living things or within the cells of living things. There are two types of carbon compounds. We have our organic compounds and our inorganic compounds. Our organic compounds contain carbon and hydrogen together. They're married. Like here, glucose. You will see C6 and you will see H12. And of course, you'll see O6. But these two elements are always together. The carbon and the hydrogen, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. And of course, you see protein down here. You see carbon and hydrogen. Now, inorganic compounds are compounds containing one of the two elements. You will have carbon and no hydrogen, or you will have hydrogen and no carbon. Inorganic compounds are non-living substances like water, H2O, and carbon dioxide. There are four kinds of organic compounds, or what I like to say, macromolecules. Macro means big, large, grande. These huge molecules, macromolecules, these four organic compounds, the first one I want to talk about are carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are made of simple sugars. When I hear the word simple sugars, I automatically think monosaccharides. Mono means one, saccharides mean sugars. So if I'm thinking about monosaccharides, I must be thinking about glucose molecules. Carbohydrates have a 2-to-1 ratio. For every oxygen, you have 2 hydrogen. So if you remember what I talked about glucose, when I say C6H12O6, we had 12 hydrogen and 6 oxygen. So for every single oxygen, you're going to have 2 hydrogen. Carbohydrates include sugars and starches. Now, as I said before, like sugars like glucose end with OSE. Glucose, fructose, maltose, lactose, and sucrose that you put in your tea and your cereal. Even deoxyribose, that's the sugar found in DNA, and ribose found in RNA. Now, if you look to the right, you will see some carbohydrate. The French fries, this is carbohydrate, it's made from potatoes. Your bread, grains, that's carbohydrate. Your lettuce, carbohydrate. And the tomato, which is also carbohydrate. This is a fruit, by the way, and it's carbohydrate. The next one are proteins. Proteins is another macromolecule made of amino acids, or should I say the building blocks of proteins are amino acids. When I think of amino acids, I think of the word peptides. When you see peptides, you think amino acids. That means you're making proteins. Proteins are needed for growth and repair. Proteins help to make the cell membrane, or what we call plasma membrane. When we think proteins, we think enzymes, receptors, because the cells need to communicate, and hormones. Don't you need insulin to bring down your sugar level? Now, enzymes end in A-S-E. Like before I told you about carbohydrates, sugar end with O-S-E. Enzymes end with A-S-E. So if you had a sugar like maltose, the enzyme that would break down maltose would be maltase. If you look to the right, you will see I gave you a picture with many different types of nuts. These nuts are example of proteins. Meat, right? Like your beef, your chicken, your pork, even your egg white, your tofu, your fish. Those things are all examples of protein. Lipids. This is the third macromolecule. Lipids are made up of fatty acids and glycerol. When you think of lipids, you automatically think of saturated and unsaturated fat. Now, saturated fat is fat that you get from animals, like when you fry the bacon. That's not good for you at all because this stuff will sleep up in your arteries and eventually you will get a heart attack. Unsaturated fat is the better fat for you because it is plant fat, like your olive oil and such. Lipids help to make your double-layered cell membrane. When I think of lipids, I think of fats, I think of oils, I think of waxes. If you look right here, this is butter. And butter, margarine, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is, I'm quite sure it makes things taste better, but it's not good for you. We're on the last of the macromolecules, the last of the 4 organic compounds. These are nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are made of nucleotides. If you look right here, you will see what a nucleotide looks like. Now, if you see this nucleotide, you'll see the orange, the blue, and the green. Now, I like to start in the middle. This is your sugar molecule. It has 5 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is deoxyribose sugar if it's DNA, or it can be ribose sugar if it's RNA. I like to call this my house. And my house needs to have a satellite dish so I can be comfortable in my house and watch television. Now, when I drive up to my house, I need to be able to park my car. So I have a garage. So this is my 5 carbon sugar, this is my phosphate, and this is my base. We'll get to the base and stuff later. Now, nucleic acids need to help make proteins in our bodies. Without our DNA and RNA, we cannot make proteins. So we do need this. Nucleic acids are our DNA and our RNA. Now, DNA needs to make protein, and DNA cannot do it alone. So DNA requires the help of RNA. DNA is locked into the nucleus. And by the way, DNA is found in the nucleus and also in the mitochondria. In plants, DNA can also be found in the chloroplast. So since DNA cannot get out of the nucleus to do the work, it requires the aid of RNA. And RNA gladly helps DNA to make proteins. Again, we need proteins for what? Enzymes, receptors, hormones, hemoglobin, stuff that makes your blood red, so it carries more oxygen, and also for antibodies so you can fight off invaders. Now, as I said before, I wanted to come back to bases. Now, there are 4 bases, these green stuff right here, there are 4 of them. ATGC if we're dealing with DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and AUGC if we're dealing with RNA. In DNA, this T right here that I've colored red is thymine. So it's adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. A and T are married, G and C are married. How do you remember these? At the Grand Canyon. Okay? Now, when you get to RNA, there's no T. The T is replaced with U. So it's AUGC. Adenine, uracil, guanine, and cytosine. A and T go together like peanut butter and jelly. G and C go together like peanut butter and jelly. In DNA, A and T are married, while G and C are married. In RNA, A and T are divorced. Now A is now with U, and G and C are still together, still tighter than thieves. Now over here on the right, you will see I put a diagram of RNA, which is only 1 strand, and a diagram of a DNA molecule, which is 2 strands. And it's like a ladder, and it's twisted, and when it's twisted, it's called a double helix. Finally, we're going to revisit inorganic molecules, or should I say inorganic compounds. Inorganic compounds are substances needed or produced by living things. We need water. We make ammonia. We need salt. Of course, we need our heart to pump. I put oxygen right here, but oxygen doesn't have a carbon or a hydrogen, but I put it anyway because we need it. Water is the best solvent and the most abundant substance in our bodies. Without water, we cannot digest our food because we need water so hydrolysis can happen as well as enzymes. So inorganic compounds are just as important as our organic compounds. As you can see, my diagrams at the bottom that I borrowed from Google. All these diagrams I've showed you, I borrowed from Google. This is the water. We're made up of about 75% water. Our cells, the cytoplasm, is water, like a water base. Blood plasma is mostly water. So yes, we are made up of mostly water. Salt. I mean, this is the best diagram I could see that you'd recognize as salt because that's like the salt container and you're pouring out the salt. We need salt in our body, not too much, but our solution in our body is salt. Saline solution, not too salty, of course. When you taste your tears, you realize that it is salty. And of course, we need oxygen so that we can breathe. We can carry out our, process, respiration, of course. And plants will need carbon dioxide so that they can make food through the process of photosynthesis. So in a nutshell, I have reviewed biochemistry and I hope it was helpful. And you can always visit my website. I have many different topics that you can cover and, just review with me and see if it will help you. Thank you again. And again, you can revisit and have a nice day. Bye.